The last time she truly rested. She couldn't remember when it was. Not because she was lazy, not because she lacked discipline, but because somewhere along the way, she had become afraid of stopping. There was always something else to do. Another email, another task, another responsibility. And every time she finished one thing, her mind immediately found another. At first she called it ambition, then productivity, then success. But eventually, it became exhaustion. Not the kind sleep could fix. The kind that follows you everywhere. The kind that whispers when you finally sit down. You should be doing something. And beneath that thought was another. If I stop, I'll fall behind. This is the woman who was never finished. One rainy afternoon she escaped into a small coffee shop. Warm lights, quiet music, the smell of fresh coffee. A place where the world seemed to move a little slower. She ordered a coffee, sat by the window. The cup arrived. Steam drifted into the air. Before taking a sip, she reached for her phone. An email, a notification, a reminder. Within seconds she was working again. An older woman behind the counter noticed. The owner of the café. She smiled, walked over, then glanced at the untouched coffee. "You're working again." The woman laughed. "Just checking something." The owner smiled. "That's what I used to say." She pulled out a chair, sat down. Years ago, she owned 3 cafes, worked every day, morning to night. Every time she reached a goal, she created another. The woman nodded. It sounded familiar. Then the owner's smile faded. "One day my body made a decision I wouldn't. I collapsed." Silence. No warning. I simply kept pushing until there was nothing left. The woman stared at her. Then the owner asked, "Do you know what frightened me most?" The woman shook her head. "The cafes kept running without me." The rain tapped softly against the window. The owner looked down. And I realized I had sacrificed years of my life for something that didn't actually need me. Neither spoke. The owner simply poured fresh coffee into a cup. Steam rose slowly. For a moment there were no deadlines, no emails, no notifications. Just coffee, rain, and silence. Then the owner pointed toward the woman's cup. "Your coffee is cold." The woman looked down. It was. She hadn't taken a sip. The owner smiled gently. "Your coffee gets cold because your mind is always somewhere else." The words landed harder than she expected. Because they were true. She couldn't remember the last meal she fully tasted, the last walk she fully experienced, or the last quiet moment she was truly present for. She was always somewhere else. Tomorrow, next week, the next task, the next goal. As Epictetus once wrote, "No great thing is created suddenly." Yet she had spent years rushing through life, as though slowing down meant failure. The owner picked up an empty coffee cup. "What makes this useful?" "The space inside." The woman answered. The owner smiled. "Exactly. Yet you've spent years filling every empty space in your life. Silence. Because she already understood. A cup filled to the brim cannot hold anything new. And perhaps people are the same. The moment you believe your worth depends on your productivity, rest begins to feel like guilt. And suddenly she saw it. The problem was never that she had too much to do. The problem was that she had tied her value to doing it. For years she had treated herself like a machine. Useful when producing. Guilty when resting. That evening she went home. No laptop. No emails. No work. Just silence. She sat on the sofa. And almost immediately, the guilt arrived. As it always did. You should be doing something. But this time she didn't obey. She let the feeling stay. And eventually, it left. For years she had believed rest was something she had to earn. But perhaps that was never true. Perhaps your value does not increase when you produce, and decrease when you pause. Perhaps you were worthy all along. A life with no empty space has no room for peace. And perhaps you don't need to earn your rest. Perhaps you only need to accept it. Rest is not something you earn. It is something you need. Guard your peace.